Hello, Chinook fans, and welcome to our 2019 season in review. Matt Menzl alongside second year Chinooks field manager Travis Akre. And Skip, first of all, thanks for your time. And as we sit here, the summer of 19 quickly came and went. As you kind of reflect back on the year that was, how do you go about summarizing this season?
Yeah, I'd say right from the start, I loved what we had on paper, the roster we built, and it's comes with some flexibility, some change. We had a couple guys that were signed with us, draft, and so that kind of changes stuff. So we had to make some adjustments on the fly, and started with the rough. The first couple of weeks were a little rough. We didn't have much camaraderie yet. We were just kind of trying to figure out our identity, who we were, and certainly second half we had a couple pieces that came in and certainly changed the atmosphere in the dugout, and really made us competitive for a while. I thought we were really good offensively for a while there in the second half, and just a couple things towards the end of the year that changed our season around a little bit, and kind of kept us out of the playoff hunt. But for the most part, we were in it the entire way in the second half.
You said to be back around the first or second home game of the year that when you look at the starting pitching, rotation-wise, you probably wouldn't have a rotation, at least in the first month, maybe first couple of months of the season. Upwards of 32 guys pitched, upwards of 23 guys with starts throughout the course of this summer. Was that kind of what you anticipated, that many players getting the opportunity to pitch for this team?
Yeah, you kind of just never know. The dynamic is changing here so much with the guys getting shut down, with pitching limits and stuff like that. And, really these kids are coming off of their college season too. So, that's a long time for them to be going and throwing and stuff. And so, there comes some stiffness and tightness along the way too, where we got to make adjustments with our rotation. But, it's just, you try to get, some consistency with that, and we were, for the most part, we were able to kind of get that for a little while, and when we did, that's when we were pretty competitive and pretty tough team to beat. But otherwise, you're trying to move guys around and trying to work with their limits and how they're feeling and stuff, and really just have to have a lot of communication with these guys too. So I thought that's probably the biggest thing for us to juggle as coaches and a manager, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about the offense. You mentioned it, on your first answer. You look at the adjustments made during the course of the season, no question this offense figured it out, especially in the month of July going into August. In your opinion, what was the big adjustment for this offense? Why was this offense able to get on track?
I think that guys finally started making some adjustments with the wood bat. There's a little bit of forgiveness in that aluminum, and so you really don't have much with the wood. But I think that the biggest thing, too, though, is guys trying to learn how to play every day. And we talked about it the other day in the dugout. Just this game can humble you pretty quick, and if you don't make adjustments, certainly playing every day, it's going to be hard to have some success. And so that was just, some things that stuck out to the guys talking about. They're like, it forces me to really be attentive and make adjustments daily, certainly with the way that their body is. So just trying to find a way to compete daily.
Coming into the season, no question, when you take a look at the roster, the way it could shape up on paper, there's some big bats in this lineup, and there would be some big bats in this lineup. So when you start looking at some of the home run totals, top 3 in the league in home runs hit, a new single-season franchise record for home runs hit here at Capco Park. Did that come as a surprise, or was that kind of the expectation with those type of numbers coming to Lakeshore that you'd be able to put up some long ball numbers?
We knew we had the potential for that. You just hope that it comes into play and comes full circle. But we just, when trying to build a roster, trying to find some guys with some juice and some power, and this ballpark can be pretty tough to lift some balls out. Certainly when that sun goes down, it can, we talk about it in the dugout jokingly all the time, it can kind of be a graveyard. It's great to pitch in, but our guys have really made some adjustments and just really gotten some good counts and they're able to hit some balls hard, and that's really what we talked about. Once we tried to, some guys got rid of that mentality of trying to hit home runs and just trying to put good swings on, then put a good swing on, the ball's going to leave the yard. But it was fun, to see guys really make some of those daily adjustments and have some success that way. And led to some home runs, but it also led to us getting some wins too.
Is it fair to say, and I feel like we addressed this last year when we did this end of the season recap interview, you look at the team and there are moments for the pitching, certainly A lot more moment for the offense. There were a moment for the defense. But was it just a matter of finding that consistency, all three, for a full game?
Yeah, I mean that's the key right there. You got to have all three facets to win, and certainly down the stretch, and you got some tired arms and just some tired bodies. Period, But I thought our defense got away from us here in the last week or so, and I felt like that was kind of the thing that kind of wrote us out of the playoff hunt, unfortunately. But you just have to find a way to compete and to do all three, and we just fell a little short in that piece of it. But you're going to be as good as you're pitching to. It's kind of the old phrase, and they gave us a chance to win for sure. We just couldn't piece it all together at times, and kind of that's where we're at today. Certainly,
you control what you can control, and scheduling-wise, you can't control how the schedule is built. But how challenging was this slate this year, being that it was so road-heavy at the beginning and so home-heavy here at the end?
Yeah, I thought that certainly when you go back and where we were in the playoff hunt, it was exciting to have a bunch of home games down the stretch, be in your bed at night, and limited travel. But as far as the league goes in our division, I feel like we're in the toughest division in the Northwoods, and it's pushing those guys to make adjustments and get better on a day-to-day basis. But you knew that you had to come and compete every day. There was no off days. There was no teams that were going to be a pushover, or you're going to be able to save some arms that day, or tweak a lineup. I mean, we had to come every day and compete, and ultimately, I think that was the fun part about this season, is just being able to play a competitive schedule. And even the teams that we played on the other side, you got to play Traverse City, who's having an incredible summer, and had a lot of arms, but just you watch the way that those guys competed, and it was fun to play that team. But Kenosha got hot later, so I mean those are the teams that we're playing on the other side. But with that and what our schedule was, I mean it's pretty competitive.
But to put you on the spot, so again, I'm helping you out because you may forget a couple of names here and there. Over 60 guys played for the Chinooks, at least one game here this summer. But who are some of the guys that maybe caught your eye, that maybe impressed you with their play or their adjustments throughout the course of the season?
There's been some guys like Cole Barr is really fun to watch. He just plays so hard and does some of the little things. Really good baseball IQ. Jake Thompson has had a really good year at the plate. Defensively working through some things with his arm, but trying to get healthy again. But really just seeing what he's done offensively, and just a tremendous kid too, a tremendous person. So he was really fun to watch, and really was a key in our lineup. Darryl Myers had a really nice year too. I mean, him and Jake really carried us for a long time in the middle of the lineup. Their averages started going up, and so did our success as a team. Really seeing Griffin Dorshing make some adjustments was really cool too. Just having a little bit of got off to a little bit of a slow start, but just bought in. Knew what he needed to do day to day to compete in this league. So seeing that success was really cool. And then just you got Will Klein lighting up the radar gun. That's always fun for fans to see. But just more importantly, though, for seeing him gain success and gain confidence in himself. Was really cool just to be that lockdown closer and wanting the baseball and wanting to compete. So he was really fun to be around. Parker Coyne every day, just coming with competing, and I got a good relationship with his pitching coach, and so just watching him compete every day, and the communication with those guys was cool. So those guys kind of stick out. You cheer for guys like Grant Hartwig, who are coming off Tommy John. So this was his season, and trying to get healthy and get right again. So to see him have success and gain confidence was really cool too. So those are just a few of the guys that stick out right away. But I mean, there's a lot of talent out there, and a lot of guys with their own story too. So just really fun to be a part of.
How much fun was it to be around a guy like a Griffin Dorshing, who seemed like he had fun every time he was at the ballpark? He was, goofy, for lack of a better way to put it. We'd catch him on camera in the first base dugout doing something. Nobody really knew what he was up to half the time, but it seemed like he kept the mood light.
No doubt. I mean, that's a cool story in itself, just having, somewhat of a local guy here who loves being here, loves being home, being able to have his family in the ballpark very frequently. So all that's very important to him. And I think with all that being said, that allows that kid to come out, that energy to come out. It was really cool just to see the relationship between him and Troy Black. Those two really kept the dugout loose. Certainly in the second half, Troy was a really nice pickup for us, and I've known him for a few years. So getting him here, just making our dugout lighter. Him and Griffin and Troutwine and Dunn. Just really keeping that dugout pretty extra loose. Daryl Myers getting in there, Justin Olson. I mean, it's a really fun group of dudes to be around every day, and it just really makes it fun to be at the ballpark.
We talk all about adjustments. How about for you? From year number 1 to year number 2, how do you feel you've grown in this role? Maybe what have you taken now from year number 2 that maybe if you come back for year number 3 you can apply?
Yeah, I just think, trying to, work with the roster a little bit, on a personnel standpoint. For me, trying to just tweak some things, and I got some ideas that, we got to try to make us a little bit better. So get us in the playoffs, and that's really what it comes down to. But, just trying to, one thing that myself and communicate with our coaching staff is, just go around every day and connect with the guys individually and making sure that they're doing all right, they're getting the most out of their experience, enjoying themselves here. But just being a resource, we want to be a resource for these guys, and so we can, maximize their experience. And so when they go back to their school and go back to their program, that they're able to contribute and be big-time players for them and their program. And obviously that'll come back on us, too, if we're doing our job right, them having success down the road. Just cool being a part of their journey.
I guess personally for you, what are your highlights from this season?
I don't know if there's necessarily one. It's just cool to see guys grow, like I was talking about with Griffin, just good to see the success. And, Parker Coyne, just the confidence that he was able to establish throughout the year. Really cool to see guys like Luke Sommerfeld and Brennan McGuigan come in that are seniors, that are hungry. And it's cool to see what those guys bring as older guys when they're pulling the younger guys aside, talking about how the grind of this season works, how to go upon your work, with your day-to-day work, and then how to be ready when the lights go on and your name's called to come out of the bullpen. So I think that stuff's really cool. So I don't know if there's just one thing that really sticks out, but there's a lot of valuable teaching moments along the way that's just really cool to be a part of.
You talked about, a question ago, how you've grown in this role from year number 1 to year number 2. Okay, we wrap things up. Off-season upon us. What does that entail for you?
Great question. I'm gonna take some time for myself here, and going down a different road in my life here personally, with career-wise and stuff, and so kind of got a little bit up in the air stuff to figure out of there along the way, but we want to build a club here, and to build a quality roster and give our fans, something to cheer for and be proud of, and a good product. So that's something that is certainly on top of my list going forward here is, building this. This is a great place to play summer baseball. I'm sitting up here on the top of our patio, and I'm looking out at Lake Michigan, at the lake there. It's an incredible view up here. We got great amenities for the guys to be a part of. I mean, if you want to play quality summer baseball, Lakeshore Chinooks is definitely a great place to be, and I'm just happy to be a part of it and just in a piece and a role to it. But a lot of really good things here.
Yeah, there's no question we are spoiled. Skip, as always, thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for another great summer here with the Lakeshore Chinooks, and enjoy your off season.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me.